In 2012, Quentin Tarantino delivered one of the most controversial and unforgettable Western films of the modern era, Django Unchained. Set in the brutal pre-Civil War South of America, the film follows the story of a slave named Django, a man stripped of freedom, dignity, and family, but not of hope. The story begins in 1858, somewhere in Texas. A group of chained slaves are being marched through the night when suddenly a strange wagon approaches. The driver introduces himself as Dr. King Schultz, a former dentist turned bounty hunter. Calm, educated, and dangerously intelligent, Schultz is not like any man Django has ever seen. Schultz is searching for the Brittle brothers, criminals with a bounty on their heads. The only man who knows what they look like is Django. So Schultz makes a bold decision. He buys Django's freedom. Not out of kindness, but as a business arrangement. However, as the story unfolds, their partnership becomes something much deeper. Schultz trains Django in the art of bounty hunting. He teaches him how to shoot, how to ride, how to carry himself as a free man. Django transforms out from a silent, broken slave into a confident gunslinger, dressed in bright blue velvet, riding a horse like a legend of the Wild West. But Django has one goal beyond money: his wife, Broomhilda. She was sold separately, taken to a plantation in Mississippi known as Candyland. And this is where the real story begins. Candyland is owned by Calvin Candy, a charming but deeply sadistic plantation owner. Candy is intelligent, theatrical, and cruel in ways that are both psychological and physical. He enjoys forcing enslaved men to fight each other to the death for entertainment, a practice known as mandingo fighting. To infiltrate Candyland, Schultz and Django create a dangerous plan. They pretend to be interested in purchasing a mandingo fighter. Their true intention? To secretly buy Broomhilda and escape without suspicion. When they finally arrive at Candyland, tension fills every scene. Candy begins to suspect something is wrong. His loyal house slave, Stephen, played masterfully by Samuel L. Jackson, becomes the true mastermind behind the plantation. Stephen is manipulative, intelligent, and terrifying in a different way than Candy. He sees through Django. He understands that Django is not just another slave. He notices the confidence, the posture, the quiet fire in his eyes, and that's when everything begins to unravel. In one of the most intense dinner scenes in modern cinema, Candy confronts Schultz and Django. The truth is exposed. Candy forces them into a cruel ultimatum: pay an absurd amount for Broomhilda or die. What follows is a sudden explosion of violence. Schultz, unable to tolerate Candy's twisted morality any longer, makes a shocking decision. He kills Candy, but pays for it with his own life. Django is captured again. But this time, he is not the same man from the beginning. Using pure intelligence and psychological manipulation, Django tricks his captors and escapes. And what follows is a brutal, explosive revenge sequence, unlike anything else. He returns to Candyland, and he destroys it. Every man who participated in the cruelty, every system that upheld the horror, falls before him. In the final moments of the film, Django rescues Broomhilda. As Candyland burns behind them, they ride away together. Not as slave and victim, but as free husband and wife. Django Unchained is not just a revenge story, it is a story about reclaiming identity, about power, about dignity. Tarantino blends dark humor, extreme violence, emotional drama, and unforgettable dialogue to create a film that forces viewers to confront one of America's darkest historical periods, but through the lens of stylized cinema. Jamie Foxx delivers a powerful performance as Django, quiet at first, but increasingly commanding. Christoph Waltz as Dr. Schultz brings charm and moral conflict. Leonardo DiCaprio as Calvin Candy delivers one of the most disturbing villains in modern film. And Samuel L. Jackson's Stephen might be one of the most complex and controversial characters Tarantino ever wrote. The film sparked debate worldwide due to its intense use of racial language and graphic violence. But beyond the shock value lies a deeper theme. What happens when a man who was treated as property decides to become unstoppable? Django Unchained is bold. It is uncomfortable, it is violent, but it is also empowering. And in the end, it asks one simple question. If freedom is taken from you, how far would you go to take it back?